morning, y'all. Today was supposed to be my clinic visit day to basically just see where I'm at towards the end of my IV antibiotic treatments and see if whenever I finish on Monday, if I can just completely de-access and be done with it, or if they want to extend it an extra week or two longer, even though I've already done 3 weeks, or if I need to go in the hospital for any reason. I've not been feeling the greatest, really since probably last Friday was probably the best I felt, and then Saturday I started going downhill a little bit more, Sunday a little more, Monday a little more, and then yesterday I had a decent day, but still not great, and I just don't feel like how I think I should feel after almost 3 weeks of IV antibiotics. It just isn't really matching up with how I'm actually feeling. So I was kind of expecting them today to see me and say, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and put you in the hospital. So I kind of already had made up my mind, not really made up my mind, but kind of came to being okay with the idea, knowing like, okay, most likely Friday I'm going to have to go get admitted, spend the whole weekend there, most of next week, and then hopefully be home by the following weekend, hopefully. But they called me last night, my team did, and said they wanted to push back seeing me an extra several days. They wanted to wait until Monday, the day I finished my 3rd week of antibiotics. They wanted to wait until then to see me. So I just get to push back the anxiety that comes along with clinic visits. I just get to prolong it for a few more days, which I don't know how I feel about that, because part of me kind of just wanted to go ahead and get it done with and over with, and just came to terms with, okay, yeah, they're probably going to put you in the hospital, but that's okay. It's like, you'll be fine. But then part of me also is like, okay, maybe I just need the extra weekend days to really rest. And when I get there, and maybe I just need the extra weekend days to rest and finish up my IVs and do extra treatments. And then by Monday, whenever I go into clinic, I'll actually be feeling a little bit better, so they won't have to put me in. But there's no way to know for sure how that's going to go until Monday. So right now it's just a waiting game to see if I start feeling better or not, and then just kind of come to terms on Monday of what they'll end up wanting to do. Whatever they decide to do, I'm not going to be surprised with either way. And they could say you're good to go, or they could say you need to go in. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised. I've legitimately spent the majority of today on the phone with either the pharmacy or the nurse or doctor's office, because my doctor sent over a prescription refill for me today, and it was processing for several hours. So I decided to call the pharmacy and see, like, hey, what's the status? When's it going to be filled? So I can plan on when I need to go up there and get it. And then they tell me that they've been trying to contact the doctor's office to get a prior authorization code, because they were having some issues with insurance. And then, of course, that meant I had to call. I emailed my doctors first, and then I called them, and then getting on the phone with the nurse, and then telling them all of the story of what I need done, and then being put on hold like 4 different times, and then being told that they'll call me back, and just waiting by the phone for them to call me back so I can even know if I'm going to be able to get my medication tonight or not. And it's just very, very, very frustrating, because I feel like I'm constantly on the phone with people, either with insurance or with pharmacies or with doctor's offices, and it's a lot of talking on the phone and answering emails and trying to get everything sorted just to get my basic things in place. Like, whenever they extended my IVs this past week, I didn't get them. I was supposed to start them on Friday, But they didn't come until Monday because someone lost the faxed over order on Friday. And then it was the weekend, so no one was there in the office. So again, just little communication ball drops, and it just kind of shows that you cannot expect your doctors or your nurses or the pharmacy to not drop the ball. You kind of have to have your eyes open and be watching for things that could go wrong potentially, because if they mess up your prescription or your IV start date or anything like that, like, they're not the ones suffering. Like, they dropped the ball, but they're not the ones that are going to be suffering. It's going to be the patient. So even though we're sick and we don't feel like it most of the time, and we just kind of want to have good faith in people that everything's going to get done the way that it needs to get done, it's just not reality. Reality is that you have to stand over some people and kind of like coach them through everything and make sure that they do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, and then following back through and making sure that it actually got done. I don't know. I'm just very frustrated right now because all I want to do is lay on the couch and rest and kind of, you know, maybe take a nap. I don't know. But instead, I'm sitting here waiting on a nurse to call me back to say if she has or has not contacted my pharmacy and why she has or hasn't. Fingers crossed I can pick up my prescription tonight. It's very frustrating. I'm not getting my prescription tonight because the nurse who was supposed to call me back after she called the pharmacy never called the pharmacy, never called me, never responded to my emails. So I'm just kind of out of luck for the night. I went ahead and sent another email over to my team and asked again for them to call and gave them the phone number and everything and explained why they needed it. And talked to the pharmacy, and, you know, she's saying the same thing. Like, sometimes you just have to stay on top of doctors and the offices because they won't do what they're supposed to do, even if it's in the benefit of their patient, and the patient can get the medicine they prescribed until they check all their boxes. But, you know, I don't know. It's just very confusing to me because this isn't a new prescription. Usually my pharmacy in the past would just do an automatic override, but I knew my pharmacist better there. And last time I got, it just doesn't make sense because I got this prescription filled at this location a month ago and there weren't really any issues. But now they're saying that they need to talk to the doctor and make sure that they're aware of what they prescribed and what else I'm on, because it can counteract with one of my other prescriptions, but I just know not to take it together. But usually my pharmacist in the past would just override it on their own, and she's wanting to make sure that the doctor's well aware.
All right, what are we talking about? What's up? All right, do it over.
We can. Cameron, I have a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
What would I have to do to get you to either hire me as an assistant at your work so I can come with you every day and hang out with you, or B, quit your job and just stay at home with me and hang out all day?
Well, a lot of things, there's a couple problems with the two scenarios that you brought up.
I see no problems.
Naturally. So the first scenario, I'm not in charge of hiring. So I can't decide,
You can outsource hire.
How can I do that?
You say, hey, you're hired, and start.
And then what, paying you?
Yeah, under the table.
Yeah, we're married. You already get a lot of my money anyway.
Fine. I mean, I'll take just lunches. You cover my lunches.
That'll get expensive. And then what do I do?
We'll charge it to the firm. See, now we're thinking.
No.
Now we're thinking.
No.
You act like it's such a bad idea to want to hang out with me all day.
It's not that. It's not that. It's just...
you hate me.
No, it's
you
just...
hate your wife.
No, I love my wife.
Is this your way of asking for a divorce?
Why do
I can't believe this.
Why do you go from like here to California in like 5 seconds? There's a lot of
'Cause I
space in
see-
between. All right, the other scenario.
Okay.
All right, so the other scenario involved me quitting my job and just staying home, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so where would our...
Or you could work from home.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't work at all. I'm just saying.
Well, you said quit the job. So where would I get money from? We don't come from trust funds, either one of us. So
See, that's where I'm at a loss.
naturally, we would both be at loss
We can
because
sell feet pictures online.
We can what?
Sell pictures of our feet online. There's some crazy people out there. They'd pay top dollar for some hairy man toes.
You know, contrary to popular belief, there's some things I want to keep private, and
Your toes is one of them.
yeah, I'm not really into showing off what
Your piggies.
the piggies that God gave me. Those piggies, they stay pure. That's all there is to it. Sorry.
I've just not really been in a great mood for most of today and then all of tonight. I think I'm just very frustrated with the fact that usually if I'm on the phone all day with the doctors, by the end of the day, everything's kind of resolved. And the fact that nothing got resolved today is just very frustrating. And the medication that didn't get filled is my pain medication that I get through my palliative care doctors. And it's just very frustrating because I feel like I need it right now. I haven't needed it in the past few days, but now I feel like I kind of do. And of course, that's whenever I don't have it. But just dealing with them all day and them just not doing their jobs right is just very frustrating, very annoying. But it also I'm still kind of at a loss as to why it's happening the way it's happening, because the whole reason why there's any issue is because I am prescribed pain medication like on a month-to-month basis, because we may change my medications or up the dosage or change the dosages every couple months, this kind of thing. So by a monthly basis, I am given pain medication through palliative care. But then I also see a psychiatrist who gives me things for my anxiety. And those medications are not to be taken together. And oftentimes, because if you take them both at the same time, like it can put you into respiratory distress and things like that. So I just know better than not to take them together, and every doctor's told me not to. And usually the pharmacist will just tell me like, hey, don't reminder, don't take these together when I go to pick up my prescriptions. But this time, since it's a new pharmacist, she is wanting to actually call my doctors and make sure that they're aware of my prescriptions, even though neither of these prescriptions are new. I've been on both of them for I don't even know how long now at this point. But it's just very, very frustrating because I'm the one that's suffering because the doctor wouldn't make the call, or the nurse wouldn't make the call that they said they were going to make, and because the pharmacist is actually doing their job versus my previous pharmacist who just knew me and they trusted me and they would just do a manual override. She's not comfortable doing that, which I understand to an extent, but at the same point, like, it's very frustrating for me as a patient. But it's just going to put me in a grumpy mood because it just takes a lot out of you. But now I need to stay up for several more hours to get these IVs done and pray that in the morning it's not too difficult to get all this stuff sorted with the nurses and doctors and pharmacy. But yeah, since I don't have anything to take for pain, and I'm not showing it right now, but I'm actually in a good deal of pain, I'm gonna go take a bunch of Aleve, put a heating pad on, and just pray for the best. Just see what happens. But in any ways, I'll go ahead and say goodnight tonight, and just go ahead and like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already. My links are going to be in the bio. Prayers, please, that tonight goes semi-soundly and that I can get through tonight and tomorrow and figuring all this stuff out with the doctors and pharmacy. Should be fun tomorrow morning. Anyways, good night, y'all.